Prof-It is brought to you by StopToShop.com, your ultimate source for Pokemon singles, tins, boxes, and cards from a variety of other games too. Type in the coupon code PROFIT in caps with a dash, and you'll sweeten the deal with a 10% discount on your full order. If you're looking for cards, make the stop at Stop to Shop.
If you haven't heard already, the official Prof-It playmats are here for pre-sale, and this week is the only time ever that you're going to be able to get one. At the end of this week, I'm going to collect up the orders, and everything's going to be shipped on Monday the 20th, so that you can get your mat in time for Nationals. They're priced at about the same price that people are reselling the official mats, so if you don't own a playmat and are interested in one, or just want to support the show and help me raise some funds to go to Worlds this year, check it out. Also, due to popular demand, I've opened them up for worldwide shipping, so you international players can get mats too. International mats are going to be $40 with free shipping, and local mats are going to be $30 with free shipping. If you're interested in getting one, check out this video here where I give detailed instructions on how to order a mat. Thanks for watching Prof-It, and let's get to today's episode. We'll see. At the moment, the only realistic way for them to stop this, if they do agree with us and believe that it's not going to be a good format, is going to be looking at a mid-season rotation. Called it!
You're ready to rock it with the nonsense and my hopes Poke projects. You won't stop till you're bopped to the top with all the hobbits. Hip with the metagame train, the reigning top kid's at the top of his game, and you can't hit my top list. You want the best tricks? I suggest you Prof-It. You want a mess Brit? I suggest you drop it. Once we started rolling, you know you can't stop it. Let's go and get some lessons from JWittz and Prof-It. Yeah.
So what we thought was probably going to happen after the last announcement is finally true. On July 1st, we're going to get a mid-season rotation, which will take place for both the United States and Canada's Nationals, as well as the World Championships. This is the only time we've ever had a mid-season rotation, and it's a pretty deep one too, so it's pretty exciting. I know I've been covering the Heart Gold Soul Silver On format for the last 2 episodes, so you guys have been watching my episodes already have a jump start in the format. However, for those of you guys who've been still working with the Battle Roads format from Majestic Dawn to Black and White, here's an episode to help you guys gear up for Nationals and learn a thing or two about how to gear up for rotation. I hope to help you guys out, and check it out. There are 2 major things that you can change in the ways that you deal with Pokemon to take advantage of this mid-season rotation and prepare for the upcoming Nationals. The first is changing your testing methods, and the second is straight preparation. Since not everybody's going to Nationals, and not everybody lives in the United States, I'm going to go over testing first to help you guys out who are players, and for those of you guys who are gearing up for the United States or Canada's National Championships, I'll give you guys some preparation tips as well. Let's get to it. As far as testing goes, if you play the game competitively, it's about time for you to start getting rid of your rotated stuff. Now, all sets before Heart Gold Soul Silver On are rotated, so I suggest you go through your binder, pick out the cards that you won't need anymore, and start working out a plan on what to do with them. Seeing how most of you guys are like me, either students, college kids, or just people with not that much money, and Pokemon is a pretty expensive hobby, most of you guys are going to want to sell your extra cards. I suggest you sell your cards at eBay, with a vendor, or even try and trade your cards for some new Heart Gold Soul Silver On stuff. For those of you guys going to Nationals, both vendors there usually buy extra cards in bulk, so if you sort all your extra cards out, keep them in a big box and bring them, you'll have some spare cash at the actual event. Because a lot of you might not have a full set of Heart Gold Soul Silver On stuff because you've been working with SP cards the whole format, you might have to start building decks with proxies. BabySearch.com has a great program for proxies, or you can make your own in Word and print 9 on a page. Either way, the process is pretty simple, and all it is just printing a piece of paper that shows what a card does and putting it inside of a sleeve with another card so that it has the same thickness and can still help you test out a deck even if you don't have all the cards for it. Now, I wouldn't fill a full deck with proxies, but even if it's just a third of the cards that you don't have already, working with Heart Gold Soul Silver On as quickly as you can, whether or not you own the cards, is pretty important. As far as testing goes, you should start looking at the decks that most people are hyping because those are the ones that you should expect to see. In my last episode, I talk about my personal top 10 list for the top 10 decks we'll see at Nationals for Heart Gold Soul Silver On, so that should be a great starting point. The pool of cards is really low, so there's not really too much to work with, so starting there should give you a good leg up on the competition. Even if you don't expect to play with a deck, and all your friends don't really expect to play with a deck, if you see a deck being hyped a lot in the forums, it's a pretty good idea to test against it. I know it's not the most fun playing with a deck that you don't even plan on playing with, but if you and your testing buddies keep on swapping out the person who's playing the popular deck, then at least you'll get adequate testing against it instead of just testing what your friends have. I know it can be boring testing for the metagame, but it's a pretty good idea if you want to be fully prepared for a tournament like Nationals. Another thing to consider for Nationals is that it's going to be a huge pool of players, bigger than any other tournament in the world every year. Last year for Masters alone, we had around 900 total players. With such a big playing field, you're going to have a deck that has at least a decent matchup against everything, so testing against a wide variety of decks is a good idea. But also, keep in mind that you shouldn't over-tech your deck against a specific weakness if it won't even be that popular at the event. For example, maybe your deck has an auto-loss to Steelix. However, because Fire's going to be so popular, are you really going to see that much Steelix at the tournament? Your best bet is probably not teching against Steelix because there's going to be so much Fire. Now, sometimes this can be hard to read, but if you look at my top 10 list, that should be a pretty adequate prediction for what you're going to see at Nationals, so gear up accordingly that way. Now remember, when you overtech your deck, you start losing consistency, and in a tournament like Nationals, consistency is the most important thing. You're going to be running 9 to 10 rounds of Swiss, and in Top Cut, it's a top 128. So that's a lot of rounds to play through. Be sure to have your deck as consistent as it can be, without losing too many matchups right away. I know Nationals is right around the corner, but with around 2 weeks left for Nationals, you should probably have your choice deck ready. I know it might be hard if you just started testing Heart Gold Soul Silver on, but if you play a few games a day, you should be pretty comfortable with something pretty quickly. Even if you think one deck could be better than the deck that you know the best, stick with the deck you know the best. That's my favorite tip to give to you guys, and I'll pledge by it for any season, anytime. If you know a deck better, you're simply going to do better with it. Unless you've been playing the game for a long time or you're a very rare exception, you're going to play best with the deck that you've tested the most. So, with 2 weeks coming into Nationals, you should have that deck ready, and if you don't have the cards, you should definitely find a way to get them before you go to the event. Even if that means ordering cards online and having to buy a few, or going to a league 1 week to get some trades in, it's going to be much better than trying to get those cards at the event. Last year at Nationals, I saw the vendors marking up prices on everything extremely high right before the event, because most players just need those cards right then, right there, with no reason. One card that I remember in particular was a Reverse Hollow Multi-Energy, going for something like $10. Don't spend $10 on a $1 to $2 card. Get your deck ready beforehand, and you won't have to suffer in the pocket. Even if you don't plan on playing in Nationals this year, you should still get your favorite Heart Gold Soul Silver on cards as soon as you can. The way I see it, the market trends usually just go higher and higher when there's a new format rotation, so if you get something now that you think might be popular, chances are it's the cheapest it's going to be for a while. If you sell your old cards and prepare for the new format as soon as you can, you'll have a leg up on everybody else that's scrambling to get their stuff done, and you'll have a better tournament performance. Now, let's take a look at some of the boring stuff. Preparation. Now, I know I go over this for most major tournament series, and it might seem monotonous or repetitive, but I really do like to give you guys the best advice that I've got so that you're fully prepared before the event. If you're not prepared, so many things can go wrong in such a big tournament, and I'd really just like to help you guys out and spare you some of the losses. The biggest thing you should do if you're prepared to go to Nationals is book your hotel right now. Whether that be your arrangements, a flight if you live farther away than driving distance, figure that stuff out as soon as you can. Now, when the event was first announced, a lot of people started noticing a really big problem. Almost everything in downtown Indianapolis that's right next to the event, and certainly everything in walking distance, has already been booked. Unfortunately, the convention center already has some big fraternity meeting that's going on at the same time, so all the best hotels are already taken. And now that the rotation's been announced, I can't imagine how many more players are going to play in it now and have already started booking stuff. If you really plan on going, my advice to you is go to Priceline or Hotels.com and start looking for an open room. It might mean that you need driving or taxi or parking to get from your hotel to the event each day, but it's better that than not going at all if you do plan on going. Just plan as soon as you can. Trust me on this, guys, it's going to get really packed really fast. In addition, one bit of advice I have to you guys from last year is buy a new set of sleeves and hold on to them until the actual event. Last year, I bought new sleeves the night before, played a few test games in my room, and then went to the tournament. On the next day, a few rounds in, I got scheduled for a deck check, and they told me that my sleeves are already too damaged to be played in, and I needed new sleeves again. It was pretty frustrating. I liked the sleeves, and it would have been nice to play through one full tournament with just one set of sleeves. But I guess that's just the way it is. Stuff can get marked up, and at Nationals, people are pretty strict as far as any possibility of cheating. So do yourself a favor, get a pack of new sleeves, and wait until the morning of the event to sleeve your deck. That way you're working with a completely clean set of sleeves, and you won't have to replace them mid-event. And lastly, as often as I say it, and as dumb as it sounds, come in with the preparation to have fun. Nationals is the biggest tournament all year round, and it's really a blast if you come in just with the expectation to have a good time. You get to meet all the people that you might know online but don't know in person. You get to see the best parts of the community. There's giant floating Pikachus, there's league events, there's side events, there's contests, all kinds of extremely cool stuff. And I really recommend that you guys just come to have a good time instead of getting over-focused on the tournament itself. I've seen so many players, they just get so wrapped up. And now, I know it's exciting to want to win the full prize, but if that's your whole intention of coming, you're definitely going to be setting yourself up for a downer if you don't end up doing well. The best thing to do is just to come, meet a lot of people, have a great time, and reassure yourself why the Pokemon trading card game is probably the best out of them all. You'll meet a ton of people, and I guarantee that if you come in with the expectation just to have a good time, you really will. Now, that being said, I'd really like to help you guys in having the best Nationals that you can by playing as well as you can. I want to have these last 3 weekends before Nationals to be all deck analysis episodes because I haven't done them for a while. What I'd like you guys to do is leave a comment in the comment section below with the deck that you would like to hear the most about in depth for the next episodes of Prof-It. I know that this episode might seem a little basic, it might not really have too much information that you haven't heard before, but it's just kind of a weird moment where we've just gotten a new format, but I've already been talking about the new format, so with no real news and not knowing which decks you guys want to hear about the most, I just decided to talk about the upcoming rotation and Nationals, which is our next big event. Help me out, leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll help you out by reporting on the deck that you guys most want to hear about for the next 3 weeks. Thanks a ton for watching this episode of Prof-It, and have a great time testing. Peace!